from this here. Thank you for that, Janice.
Yeah, and one thing to point out too, we were talking about these inspections. So it's our understanding, reading through some of the reports, and even the New York City Health Commissioner Ashwin Basin said that this home-based daycare operation was last inspected with a surprise inspection just September 9th. So what is that, 9 days ago?
9 days ago.
And there were no violations found. It just opened a few months ago from our understanding back in January, and at that point through the licensing process, which this place was licensed by the state from our understanding again. Through that process of licensing, it was also inspected 2 times, and investigators did not find anything. So a lot of parents, you and I have been talking about it. Each of us have 3 young kids, and you see the faces of these just innocent kids. Just it's just absolutely
we know how
unfathomable.
difficult it is to find affordable childcare. So when you're in a situation like this and you're trying to figure out what daycare is right for me, the city is giving some tips. Take your time, ask for help. They also say, see the establishment for yourself. Poke around, ask questions. The site must be properly licensed. You must know that. Inspected as well. Everyone who works or lives at the site must be screened. Regulations require safe sleeping environment as well. All of this needs to be completely buttoned up. It appears as if this daycare was, but trust your gut at the end of it, right? Story that we've had to talk about, that horrific death at a daycare center in the Bronx that appears to have gripped everyone. This story.
Yeah, I mean, it's front page of the papers. It's all over the place. You see this little boy here. A 1-year-old was killed, 3 other children hospitalized after being exposed to opioids inside their own daycare. And we're going to talk about ways that you can try to make sure your kids are safe before dropping them off at these daycare centers around the city. But sometimes it just is this worst case situation, and it is not preventable. In this particular case, investigators are still looking through how did this happen. And Janice Yu is live in the Kingsbridge section of the Bronx this morning. I think that's the question, not just parents like Charlene and I, but everybody's asking, how could this happen? How were these kids around this drug at all? Janice, what have you learned so far?
Right, Charlene and Mike. I mean, that is really the most gripping part of this story is just how bizarre it all is and tragic, of course. So right now we know the 2 people who were arrested, the daycare operator as well as the tenant in the apartment. They're both being held without bond. And this morning they are looking for the daycare operator's husband. They want to talk to him in connection to all of this. So the 2 people who were arrested, Gray Mendez and Carlisto Acevedo Brito, are now facing 11 charges, including murder and manslaughter. A judge denied their bail, saying they were flight risks after the, quote, reckless and depraved death. Authorities say 4 kids somehow came into contact with fentanyl inside the Divino Nino daycare. This daycare had passed a surprise inspection just the week prior. A 2-year-old boy remains in critical condition. 2 others were hospitalized, and sadly, 1-year-old Nicholas died. According to the criminal complaint, a kilo of fentanyl was found in the hallway closet outside Acevedo Brito's room. Mendez's attorney claims she didn't know he was storing drugs in the apartment-based daycare, and that her only crime is renting a room to someone who is allegedly in possession of drugs.
She had no idea about what was in the closet. She called the cops. Would you call the cops if you know that there's fentanyl in your apartment?
Where is her husband? Is he on the run?
No comment.
Well, it's not clear at this point what role, if any, Mendez's husband had played in all of this. But again, authorities are searching for him right now. They do want to talk to him about all of this. Back to you guys.
So curious to know how those children came in contact with those drugs. Very close to them, but still a lot to learn from this here.